Good morning. Today is July 7th, 2025. Aqua is going to share one of the 4 personality traits, which is amiable. So Aqua, please take it away.
Great. Thank you, Lumi, and thank you everyone for your patience. Today I'm going to dive into the amiable personality type and how it shows up in the real estate business. I'll go over what makes them tick, how to recognize them, and how to work effectively with them, whether you're an agent or helping a client. So
Okay.
knowing the personality type isn't just about psychology. It also helps with your selling and buying strategy. It helps you to understand who you're working with, and it helps build trust and close deals more smoothly. As we focus on this type today, as I go through, you could pick up some tips on how to work more effectively with this personality type and how to alter or adjust your personality so that you can connect with that client. So who is the amiable personality type? They are warm-hearted and empathetic. They prioritize relationships and harmony, excellent team players, and they avoid conflict and value consensus. So they're always looking at the bigger picture, kind of team building. They lead with emotion. They feel their way through decisions, and I'm sure a lot of you have worked with this type of person in your business now. You can count on them to be supportive and loyal. They'll show up every time for a showing, or they're very happy to adjust their schedule accordingly. And in real estate, these are your agents. So the type of amiable agent in real estate is the one that'll go that extra mile to make their client feel heard and safe. Again, they lead with emotion. They feel their way through decisions. Often you'll hear them say, well, I have to ask a family member. So they're always looking for that consensus. They take longer to decide, and they need to feel comfortable. So as an agent, we have to give them that space so that they can make their decisions in their time without making them feel like they're being pushed or you're getting into their personal space. You'll also notice that they use different types of communication skills. There are nonverbal skills and verbal skills. Like the amiable personality, they tend to smile a lot, and they're soft-spoken people. They like to create a calm atmosphere. And again, they don't move quickly. They're relaxed and easygoing, which makes people feel more at ease.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how
So,
would you talk to them when as a realtor?
well, when you, as a realtor, they may say something like, my intuition will tell me, and you want to listen to what they have to say. And you want to lead with your heart, not with hard data. So as opposed to showing them a list of numbers and graphs and charts, you just want to listen to them. And it's more emotion focused. So if they're saying my intuition tells me, well, listen to what their intuition is telling them and then to adjust accordingly.
Okay.
Again, so when you're working with them, you want to be patient, build the relationship. Always ask about the family and connections because that's what drives them, and show compassion. So also use language that kind of affirms their feelings and then reassure them. So for example, as I said, they might say, oh, let me talk to my family about this. Okay, well, yeah, why don't we bring your family in? We could discuss it. When's a good time for all of us to meet to go over this? So you just want to make sure that one, you're building the relationship, and you're also giving them um, the respect that they need so that they can so they can make their decision with their family members or whoever else they need to get affirmation from. Also, sometimes you'll see a hybrid, so an amiable and an expressive client. So these people are bubbly, social, and driven by excitement, but they also crave validation and attention. So it's important to recognize them. And again, I keep on saying adjust or pivot to that different type of personality type. To you, they may seem disorganized if you're not an amiable person, um, but they have their own organization structure, and they're guided by enthusiasm and feelings.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Any questions for Aqua about the Amiable, or any other thoughts about the Amiable personality? And Aqua, do you know any amiable people in your family, in your clients? Were you able to identify them?
You know, I've been able to identify myself as an amiable personality in some respects. And then also I did have a client last year who, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but we looked at it was an apartment, and her entire family had to come and see the apartment. So it was on the west side. I would drive to the west side to show her children the apartment, to show her daughter-in-law the apartment. Everybody had to look at the apartment, get a consensus, and before we moved forward. So, and I have a little script that you could use, like when you're working with this type of personality, you could say something like, you know, I love how excited you are about this home. Just kind of match their enthusiasm as you're going forward.
I love
So,
it. Yeah, if you have other scripts, please share them.
okay. So that's all I have. I just have that, you know, just make sure that you use the verbal and non-verbal cues, be able to spot them, be patient, build trust with them, don't rush, and just make sure that you also are able to pivot with them and notice that personality type needs more time to make a decision.
Got you. Okay.
Okay.
That sounds wonderful. Wonderful job. Thank you very much for sharing.